Hey guys, and welcome to the Game Beans. I'm RFXX, and welcome to the guide on 61 Arbiter, the Mage tank soul. If you don't know anything about the abilities, the overview of how the actual soul works, then I advise you to watch the other video. They're pretty long, but it goes into detail of what each ability can do, does, and how you what the points in the tree do as well. So, 61 Arbiter tank soul. So obviously it's going to be 61 points in Arbiter, but what are you going to use for the subsouls? You know, what can Mage be for subsouls? Well, first of all, Warlock. So in Warlock we can get our endurance quite high to 10%. So first of all we can go to 10% more endurance, or we can also go into Stormcaller, which now in the Stormcaller tree also has, as we see here, 5% less reduced damage by 5%. So increase endurance by 10%, which we get quite a lot. It takes you from right now from about 76. If I'm on 76, it'll take me from, as we see here, 87 point whatever to about 91. So it gives me about 4k health at the moment for me. You could also then, at the moment, we could also go for Harbinger. Don't save. So let's go for Harbinger. We can also go for, as we see, the dodge by 10% and another 10% here. So this now we get another 10% static and another 10%, so that's 20% increased with dodge straight away, and we could also go for them for another 5% damage reduce. I believe this is going to be getting nerfed maybe at some point, so it's not as OP as it is, but to be honest, we don't really need dodge. We've got so much reflect anyway, so I wouldn't advise going for it really. It's not really much important. So what else can we go for? We can also go for Warlock still with the health, but Archon also gives us opportunity as well, as in Archon we can just go for a few points here, 2 points in Archon to go for the Searing Vitality, which gives us some more endurance, so we can just purely stack endurance. And if we take another 2 more points, we can also go for Power Drain. So if you're the tank, because obviously Harbinger Arbiter uses charge reduced, we can also use this to then reduce the damage on the boss by 10% and also get our charge down to use our shield buff and get our armor our spell damage, reduced damage from in the tree, which I explained in the other video. So we can also go for there. Is that it? No, we can actually do quite a lot because we are actually mages. We can actually go for example, we could go in Necro. We could go for 6 points in Necro. It doesn't really give us anything, but it gives us a purge. So if we need a boss with a purge, quickly switch out a few points and get, you know, a purge in there if you really needed one. Can we also go for anything else? Yeah, we could actually go for Dominator as well. We could be a bit OP. If you can survive it in our boss and you need a lot of things, well then you could obviously go for some more endurance, more mana, sorry, not really needed. You can go for more intelligence so you get more deflect and more parry, but you can also go for a resting presence. So what do we get? We get the silence, resting presence. We also get a reflect and a knockback with a thing as well. We could also even take it out and just go for the sheep. So technically, as a mage tank, even though we are tanks, we could actually have a potential of doing quite a lot of jobs for like reflecting, silencing, purging. You know, we'll have a lot. So, but I'm going to stick with what I normally go for and go for increase the amount of charge gain, because we also need a lot of charge to reduce it as well, and reduce damage taken. So there we have it. So now, what are we going to need? Well, I have quite a few macros for this. And why do I have a lot of macros? Because as there's quite a lot of abilities. So I have here is a single target macro here. It has a few other abilities in there, but we probably don't need them because we don't ever use Searing Vitality anymore because we're not in Archon. But this is a single target charge plus. So when I use this macro here, it only uses single target abilities, and my charge increases. The charge increases. It doesn't really show it there. And then what else do we have in our macro? So macro, put it on the side. We also have the single target plus AoE. So all the AoE abilities we have. So the one that gives us a shield is a 8-second cooldown, just a normal cleave ability, and just a normal spam single target because that's in there. And this basically is just all the AoEs abilities with a single target because that's all we have to gain charge. because obviously we know it's important to gain and lose charge, as we gain charge we get a shield for, I think it was 5% of our health, maximum health, and we also gain 30% armor. But obviously, as we know from the other video, that we also gain a debuff, so we can't apply that again. So that means we're going to need, you know, obviously single target and AoE minus charge. So all this is here is all the single target charge losses. So as we go click this, and in here we have an ability called where the hell is it? Here it is. Oh, Icy Fury. Icy Fury, basically as we use this, it reduces the cooldown of Glacial Spike by 5 seconds. So as we keep on using this, well then Glacial Spike will come off cooldown, which is a pretty high damaging ability for us. It's the highest one we have. And we also have an AoE one where, as we can see over here, it's actually ranged ability as well, where we just have all our range abilities in there, and it's just basic. I think it's just one ability really, or maybe two, but yeah, as we see, it's not really interesting, just one AoE ability what you lose your charge. So as we know, I'm just going to spam up, and here we go, we get a shield debuff, and we have also ability called here, a macro called Vortex. Well, in this macro, basically what Vortex does is it reduces the global cooldown of Glacial Spike, which is this one here, the one which is the other ability, reduces it by 5 seconds, but it leaves it to 0, so it means we can spam it as it's a high damaging ability. So if we're not really concentrating on trying to get our charge, so here we have, I got a shield up, use it as a single target ability, and we have, as you see there, I clicked another ability. This ability is called Surfing Wing, and it increases the damage of charge consuming abilities by 20%. So you want to make sure you only use that when Vortex is off cooldown, so that when you use Vortex it reduces the Glacial Spike to 0, so you just keep on spamming it as it's our highest damage ability as that we have. So obviously we're going to use Swirling Winds with it to increase our damage by more. So make sure you only use it for charge consuming abilities, so everything with a minus in them, because otherwise it won't work. So once you don't actually have that Vortex, then you just keep on spamming this, and it the number single target one, because that's all you really need to do. Unless you've got a few mobs around, you can use AoE or switch between or whatever. However, what I find is that if you're trying to get down to 0 charge quick, and using this is too slow, with 1 second global second cooldown, you can actually use Soothing Waters. This is a heal on yourself, and it uses no instant global cooldown. So I just spam it here, boom, boom, boom. I now have the shield on me straight away, and I think it's actually got changed. So it actually, yeah, it consumes 20 charge. So we keep on. Well, that seems like a bug at the moment. It's supposed to use 20 charge only, but at the moment it's using 100% of your charge. So at the moment this is bugged. It should be able to, from full charge, be able to use it 5 times. But at the moment it's bugged, so we can only use it once. Unless it's using it all together. Yeah, it's using it all together basically. So if you want to get to 0 health, to 0 charge really quick and pocket up your shield, use the charge as it now basically, instead of you used to be able to spam it and it heals you 5 times, this consumes it all together, kind of like the shield from Rune Shield. So that's how that's really worked for the tank. Really, you're just going to be spamming the AoE or single target pull, and then just going using Vortex and making sure you're getting more damage, and you're just spamming your single target abilities, making sure that your shields and your buffs that increase your armor and reduce the damage from spell effects are on. That's basically it. And obviously, as we can see here, and just going up in charge, get my shield back, I can use Soothing Waters and get my other shield back straight away. So we're basically toggling our shields a hell of a lot. Is that all the macros? No, there's actually some more, because of other things. So Shared Agony, as we said before, this is an intercept on any other person. You use it on a person, you can use it as a mouse over, as I have here. Use it on a person, you take 50% of their damage, and they gain all your toughness. So I have 600, they'll gain 600 of my toughness as well. So that means that if we can use this on certain boss fights where someone's going to take a lot of damage for using something, we could just put the intercept on them and the intercept damage on them, because it gives a 2 minute cooldown debuff on that player. And is there more? Yeah, there's obviously the single target threat, and you can use on a party member, which lasts for 6 seconds, so you use it as a mouse over as well. And there's the bloody other threat generation, which uses on all party members. So as a full party member, so you can use it on like 5 people all at once for 10 seconds, get all their threat, and you intercept 10% of their damage. So these are all the macros. You might think it's quite a lot, but you know, it's depending on the boss fight. Because if you actually don't need you're not allowed to use AoE fights, AoE abilities, but they make it so that tank abilities aren't affected by it, then you won't even need a single target macro. And AoE one, just because you just might as well, because you might not be using AoE all the time, so make sure that you just have a single target one, as it does more damage anyway. And all these stupidly cast over, mouse over stuff, and the Vortex to reset the Glacial Spike, which is pretty cool. And everything in here also has an ability, Counter Shock. Counter Shock is basically an ability where if you, I think it's Deflect, an ability, you put this on yourself, and the next 3 abilities you deal an additional air damage, and it has no global cooldown, so it's all at the end of the macros, so that you instantly click it anyway. Obviously there's a lot more in here, like interrupts, loads of taunts, loads of debuff, shields and all that kind of thing. Obviously with this one, you full 61, we get a lot of cooldowns, so we get the actually yeah, that other one as well, the macro, which I didn't show, the death one. This also is a mouse over player as well, because you can use it on any other person, so you don't have to use it on yourself, which is the evade death, kill and blow cooldown. So that's really it for actually how you play it. Obviously it's all dependent on everything else. Obviously you're going to be using your taunts whenever you need to, like single target pulls, your AoE pulls, or your your AoE normal AoE taunts. Then you got your interrupts like normal tanks. You got your buffs, which are actually going to be for this. The Icy Blessing, which reduces your income and damage. Arcane Ward, because of your tank. Increased endurance, and Ebb Blow, which is a 61 point ability. There isn't any other point of going for anything else, because Warlock will get rid of your Mage armor, which we can actually use that as well now, which before didn't. So we can actually use this Mage armor as well, because I believe one of the other abilities in here, the Agnes Blessing, used to be a Mage armor. So actually this leads up to a lot of things, because we can actually use this as well. It doesn't really affect us at all, because there's no point. We just deal more damage to the person who attacks us. So this can go on my bar as well. Not really much else for it. You can, if you really want to, go for other parts, but that's really for the souls. There's a lot of sub-souls we can go for. Obviously there's better ones for more endurance, one for more endurance and less damage reduction, dodge. It really depends, but this is the one I'm going to go for and stick with, because it has a lot of potential, has a hell of a lot of cooldowns, as we explained in the other video, and that's pretty much how you play the soul, guys. It's really simple, all about managing your charge so you actually get your shields, and that's really all you need to do. Make sure that you're keeping your shields up to top by either doing it self, by juggling your charge by using the charge consuming and charge lost abilities. If you really need your shield, then you can use Soothing Waters to get it straight away, and then obviously you can gain a charge up again and use the shield surge, which gets rid of your cooldowns, and go boom straight away and get another cooldown, another shield for the lesser shield, where you consume charge. So that's it. Not really much or detail into it. You might not be used to being playing tank, but that's how you play the spec. Everything else is dependent on you, on your cooldowns, your pulls, your taunts, anything like that is dependent on you. But that's how you pretty much play the spec. There's a lot of all the abilities that use charge consuming abilities all have either a range of 20 or 30, where all the single targets are melees, and with the AoE cleaves which are around you. So that's it for Mage Arbiter. Not really much else to say apart from that, and cheers for watching, and next video will be on Arbiter, which is a pretty interesting soul, so look out for that. See you later, guys.